Most people open their eyes in the morning and they're already tired. They hit snooze, they scroll their phones, and they start another day exactly like the last. But what if I told you you've been wasting the greatest gift you've ever been given? Your life. Today. Right now, this is not just another day, this is your chance. Your chance to live with energy, gratitude, and unstoppable purpose. Most people wake up in the morning and the very first thought they have is, I'm tired. They groan, they complain, they roll over and hit the snooze button. Some even wake up already feeling defeated before the day even begins. And what happens next? They stumble through their morning, rushing, stressing, reacting to life instead of stepping into it with power. But let me ask you something. What if the problem isn't your alarm clock? What if the problem isn't your job, your obligations, or the weight on your shoulders? What if the real problem is your perspective? Because the truth is, the way you see life is the way you live life. And if every morning you wake up with the mindset that life is a burden, then every day is going to feel heavy, exhausting, and meaningless. But if you wake up with the perspective that life itself is a gift, then suddenly, even the simplest moments become extraordinary. I want you to really think about this. Every day you open your eyes is a miracle. Not everybody got that chance today. Someone out there went to sleep last night and didn't wake up this morning. Someone out there is fighting for their very last breath, and yet here you are, alive, breathing, given another opportunity to experience love, growth, contribution, connection, and creation. But here's the catch. Most people waste this gift. They live as if tomorrow is guaranteed, as if time is endless, as if they can just keep putting off their dreams, in their joy, their relationships for another day. They let days blur into weeks, weeks blur into months, and months blur into years. And then they wonder why they feel unfulfilled. You see, perspective is everything. Two people can live the exact same day, face the exact same challenges, and yet have completely different experiences. One sees problems, the other sees possibilities. One feels trapped, the other feels free. One complains, the other gives thanks. It's not the circumstances, it's the perspective. Think about it like this: life is like a lens. If the lens is dirty, scratched, and covered in negativity, everything you see will look distorted. But if the lens is clean, if you choose to see with gratitude, with awareness, with possibility, suddenly life looks brighter, clearer, and more meaningful. And I want to challenge you right now to shift that lens, to stop seeing mornings as something you have to endure and start seeing them as something you get to experience. Stop saying, I have to get up. Start saying, I GT to get up. That one word, get, changes everything. It transforms obligation into opportunity. It transforms resistance into excitement. It transforms fatigue into fuel. When you wake up in the morning and your first thought is, I get to live today, you start to feel differently. You stop dragging your body through the motions and you begin to carry yourself with a sense of purpose. You stop being a prisoner to time and you become a master of the moment. This shift in perspective doesn't just change your mornings, it changes your entire life. Because once you begin to see life as a gift, you stop taking it for granted. You stop wasting your time on meaningless distractions. You stop drowning in petty frustrations. Instead, you start to value every second, every breath, every opportunity. And let me tell you, that shift creates energy. It creates momentum. It creates fire. When you wake up with the belief that today is a blessing, your brain looks for reasons to confirm that belief. You start noticing the beauty around you, the sun on your skin, the laughter of your loved ones, the chance to create something meaningful. You start focusing on what's possible instead of what's missing, and you begin to live with an aliveness that most people never touch. Now, you might be saying, Tony, you don't understand my life. You don't understand my struggles. You don't understand what I have to deal with every day. And you're right. I don't know every detail of your story. But here's what I do know: pain is universal. Struggle is universal and setbacks are universal. Every single person has challenges. But the difference between people who thrive and people who barely survive is perspective. There are people with nothing, absolutely nothing, who wake up filled with joy and purpose. And there are people with everything, money, success, possessions, who wake up miserable. Why? Because happiness is in the circumstances, it's in the perspective. So I want you to think about this. What story are you telling yourself every morning when you wake up? Are you telling yourself, here we go again, another day of the same problems, the same stress, the same routines? Or are you telling yourself, I've been given another chance to live, to grow, to love, to serve, to make today matter? That story you choose to tell yourself becomes your reality. And the beauty of it is, you're the author. You're the one who decides what meaning you attach to the day ahead. Let me share something powerful with you. In life, meaning equals emotion and emotion equals life. The meaning you give to your mornings determines the emotions you feel, and the emotions you feel determine the quality of your life. If you give your mornings the meaning of stress, your life will feel stressful. If you give your mornings the meaning of opportunity, your life will feel empowering. And here's the secret: you don't have to wait for your circumstances to change to shift your perspective. You can decide right now in this very moment to see life differently. You can decide that from this day forward, you're not going to wake up like a victim of time, but as a creator of it. You can decide that from this day forward, you're not going to drag yourself through mornings. You're going to rise into them with energy, intention, and gratitude. And when you do that, everything else begins to shift. Your relationships shift because you show up differently. Your work shifts because you bring passion instead of resentment. Your health shifts because you start moving your body with energy instead of exhaustion. Your future shifts because you begin to build it with conscious awareness instead of unconscious repetition. See, most people don't need another morning routine. They don't need another productivity hack. They don't need another list of things to do before 7 a.m. What they need is a new perspective, a new way of seeing the day, a new way of framing life itself, because once you change the way you see mornings, you change the way you live them. And once you change the way you live your mornings, you change the trajectory of your entire life. So, the next time you open your eyes and feel that old pattern creeping in, the heaviness, the complaints, the fatigue, I want you to stop yourself and say out loud, today is a gift. I get to live today. I get to love today. I get to grow today. I get to create today. Feel that shift. Feel the energy that comes from that perspective, because that energy is the fuel you've been missing every day when you wake up. You're standing at a crossroads. One path is the path of drifting, reacting, and letting the world decide who you are and how you live. The other path is the path of intentionality, the path where you decide your direction, your energy, your priorities, and your purpose. And here's the truth: if you don't choose the second path, the first one will choose you. Life will sweep you up in its distractions, its noise, its demands, and before you know it, another day is gone, another week is gone, another year is gone, and you're left wondering where it all went. The difference between a life of fulfillment and a life of frustration often comes down to this one thing: intentionality. Do you live by design or do you live by default? Do you choose your days or do your days choose you? Most people wake up without any sense of intention. They don't think about how they want to feel, what they want to create, or who they want to become. They simply react. They check their phone, they respond to messages, they put out fires, they rush through obligations. And by the time they stop to breathe, they've already given away the most valuable thing they own: their focus. See, intention is like a steering wheel. Without it, you're a car rolling downhill with no control, crashing into whatever obstacles show up. But with intention, you take control of the wheel, you choose the direction, and you start moving toward the life you actually want instead of the life that happens to you. And here's the secret: your mind will follow whatever intention you give it. If your first thought in the morning is stress, then your mind will look for more stress. If your first thought is distraction, your mind will scatter. But if your first thought is intentional, this is what matters to me today, this is what I'm going to create, this is the energy I choose to bring, your entire physiology begins to align with that decision. That's why intentionality is so powerful. It gives you focus, and focus is energy. Where focus goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, results show. Without intention, your energy is scattered in 1,000 directions. With intention, your energy is concentrated, sharp, unstoppable. Think about it. Have you ever had a day where you were completely clear about what you wanted to do? Maybe it was a project you were passionate about. Maybe it was an event you were excited for. Maybe it was simply a goal that mattered to you deeply. On those days, didn't you feel more alive? Didn't you have more energy? Didn't time seem to work with you instead of against you? That's the power of intentionality. And yet, how many days do most people live like that? Rarely. Instead, they live in reaction mode. They live on autopilot. They live in patterns that were programmed by other people, by old habits, by outdated beliefs. They live without stop and ask the most important question: what is my intention for this day? Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, and before you do anything, before you touch your phone, before you step into the noise of the world, you stop, you breathe, and you set an intention. You say, today I intend to live with energy. Today I intend to bring love into every interaction. Today I intend to focus on progress, not perfection. Today I intend to take one step closer to the vision I have for my life. Do you feel the difference? That's not just wishful thinking. That's programming your mind. That's giving your brain a target, a direction, a purpose. And once you give your brain that instruction, It starts filtering reality differently. It starts noticing opportunities that align with your intention. It starts guiding your decisions, your actions, and even your emotions in a way that moves you toward that outcome. And here's what's really exciting: intentionality compounds. One intentional day builds on another. You stack them like bricks, and suddenly you're not just living days, you're building a life. You look back after a week, a month, a year, and you realize you didn't just drift. You created, you designed, you built something meaningful. Now, let's talk about the opposite: life without intention. What does that look like? It looks like burnout. It looks like endless business with no fulfillment. It looks like checking off 100 tasks and still feeling empty at the end of the day. It looks like being pulled in 1,000 directions, but never moving in the direction that matters most. And the tragedy is that's where most people live. Not because they don't have dreams, not because they don't have talent, but because they haven't made the decision to live intentionally. They haven't taken the power of their mornings and used it to shape their lives. See, every day is a seed. You plant it with your thoughts, you water it with your focus, you grow it with your actions. If you plant seeds of chaos, you get chaos. If you plant seeds of distraction, you get distraction. But if you plant seeds of intention, you get a harvest of purpose, progress, and fulfillment. This isn't about perfection. It's not about controlling every second of your life. It's about living with awareness. It's about asking yourself, what do I want to create today? Who do I want to be today? How do I want to show up today? Because the truth is, you always show up as someone. The question is, are you showing up as the person you want to be, or the person your circumstances force you to be? And when you start practicing intentionality, something amazing happens. You begin to notice how much of your old life was spent on autopilot. You notice how many decisions you made unconsciously, how many hours you lost to meaningless distractions, how much energy you gave to things that didn't matter. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You begin to reclaim your power, your time, your life. Now let me be real with you, living with intention takes practice. It takes consistency. It takes reminding yourself every single morning that you are not here to drift, you are here to design. And yes, there will be days when you slip. There will be days when you forget. But the beauty is, every morning gives you a fresh start. Every morning is a reset button. Every morning is an invitation to live intentionally again. And when you live that way, you stop being a prisoner of your environment. You stop being at the mercy of stress, of distractions, of other people's demands. Instead, you become the creator of your state, the architect of your energy, the driver of your destiny. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't just roll out of bed and stumble into the noise of the world. Stop, breathe, choose, set your intention. Decide who you are going to be and how you are going to live this day. Because when you do that, and you stop living as a passenger, and you start living as the driver of your own life, when you open your eyes in the morning, the very first moments decide the tone of your entire day. Most people don't realize this. They think their day is shaped by circumstances, by schedules, by problems waiting for them at work. But the truth is, the state you put yourself in at the start determines how you handle everything that comes your way. And there's one tool, one practice, one shift that can change your state faster than almost anything else: gratitude. Gratitude is the ultimate energy reset. It takes you from stress to peace, from scarcity to abundance, from fear to strength. It's impossible to feel fear and gratitude at the same time. It's impossible to feel anger and gratitude at the same time. Gratitude transforms your emotional state instantly because it shifts your focus. And where focus goes, energy flows. But here's the mistake most people make. They treat gratitude like an afterthought. They say, yeah, I'm grateful, but it's surface level. They don't feel it they don't embody it. They don't let it fuel them. Gratitude isn't just something you think. Gratitude is something you practice, something you breathe in, something you bring into your body every single morning. When I wake up, I don't go to my phone. I don't go to my to-do list. I go to gratitude. I ask myself, what are 3 things I can feel deeply grateful for right now? Not just things that are obvious, like family or health, but specific, vivid moments. It could be the smile on someone's face yesterday. It could be the sound of laughter from my kids. It could be the fact that I get another chance today to do what I love. And when you feel gratitude at that level, your heart changes, your breathing changes, your energy changes. Suddenly, you're not starting the day from a place of lack, you're starting from a place of abundance. Now let's add the second piece, energy rituals. Because gratitude shapes your focus, but energy rituals shape your body, your vitality, your drive. See, the mind and body are connected. If your body is weak, your mind will struggle. If your body is tired, your spirit will drag. But when you move your body, when you breathe with intensity, when you activate your physiology, You awaken the power that's already inside you. Most people roll out of bed like zombies. They move slowly, they drag their feet, they sip on caffeine to try to come alive. But here's the thing, you don't need caffeine, you don't need external stimulants, you don't need to wait for energy. You can generate energy. You can create it with movement, with breath, with intention. That's why I always start my mornings with rituals that ignite my energy. Deep breathing, powerful movement, even just a few minutes of intense focus on my body and my breath. Because when you push oxygen through your body, when you fire up your muscles, when you move with power, you're telling your brain, I am alive, I am strong, I am ready. And when you combine gratitude with energy rituals, you create an unstoppable force. You align your mind and your body. You're grateful for the life you've been given, and you're energized to actually live it fully. That combination is what takes you from dragging through your mornings to dominating them. Think about it like this. Gratitude is your fuel, energy rituals are your ignition. You can have all the fuel in the world, but if you don't ignite it, you don't go anywhere. And you can have all the ignition in the world, but if there's no fuel, you burn out. But when you have both, you light up, you come alive, you carry that fire into everything you do. And here's what's beautiful. You don't need hours to do this. You don't need some complicated system. All you need is a few minutes every morning to anchor gratitude into your heart and energy into your body. That small commitment rewires your entire day. Imagine this, instead of rolling out of bed in a fog, you wake up, you breathe deeply, you stand tall, you move with power. You close your eyes and you feel 3 moments you're grateful for. Really feel them until your chest expands with emotion. Then you ask yourself, who do I want to be today? What energy do I want to bring? What impact do I want to create? And you let that intention sink into your body as you move, as you breathe, as you come alive. Do you think that kind of start would change the way you show up at work, in your relationships, in your health? Absolutely, because your state controls your performance. Your energy controls your experience. And when you master your mornings with gratitude and energy rituals, you master the way you live. But most people never give themselves this gift. They wake up and immediately hand over their energy to stress. They wake up and immediately hand over their focus to social media. They wake up and immediately hand over their purpose to whatever comes at them. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted, why they feel empty, why life feels like a constant uphill battle. It's because they're not taking ownership of their state. They're not generating gratitude. They're not generating energy. And if you don't generate it, the world will drain it. I want you to understand this. Your morning rituals are not just routines, they are life design. Every ritual is either programming you for weakness or programming you for power. Every ritual is either setting you up to react or setting you up to lead. And the rituals of gratitude and energy are the foundation of a life that's not just successful but deeply fulfilling. So the question is, are you willing to claim those first minutes of your day? Are you willing to start your mornings not with distraction, not with chaos, but with presence, gratitude, and energy? Because if you are, you'll discover a power you didn't even know you had. Gratitude tunes your heart. Energy rituals charge your body. Together, and they create a state that makes you unstoppable. And from that state, everything in your life, your relationships, your work, your goals, your dreams, begins to shift because you are showing up differently. You are no longer stumbling through life half asleep. You are awake, alive, intentional, and grateful for every moment. Most people in this world are not truly living. They're existing. They wake up, they go through the motions, they do what's expected. They check the boxes, they survive the day, and then they collapse into bed at night only to repeat the same cycle again tomorrow. It's like they're sleepwalking through life, waiting for some future moment when they'll finally allow themselves to feel alive. But here's the truth, if you're only existing, you're already dying a little each day. Because existing means you're not creating, you're not experiencing, you're not contributing, you're not growing. And a life without growth, a life without passion, a life without meaning is not really life at all. Living is different. Living means you wake up with fire in your belly. Living means you decide each day to step into possibility, to pursue meaning, to give more than you thought you could give, to love more than you thought you could love. Living means you don't just wait for life to happen, you make life happen. So ask yourself, are you living or are you existing? Are you waking up with a sense of urgency, knowing that today is a gift, knowing that this is the one chance you'll never get back? Or are you dragging yourself through another 24 hours, hoping that someday, somehow, life will change on its own? Existing is safe. Existing is predictable. Existing doesn't demand much of you. But existing will never fulfill you. It will never light you up. It will never give you the joy, the passion, the sense of purpose that comes from truly living. And here's the scary part: existing feels normal to most people. They think that's just how life is supposed to be. You go to school, you get a job, you pay the bills, you retire, and then one day it's over. But deep down, you know that's not enough. You know there's something more. You can feel it. That tug in your heart that says, I was meant for more than this. That whisper inside that says, there's more to me, more to my life, more to my purpose. That's the voice of life calling you to live. But too often, people silence that voice. They bury it under routines, under fear, under excuses. They say, I'll live when I have more money. I'll live when I have more time. I'll live when everything is perfect. And the tragedy is that day never comes, because life doesn't wait. Life doesn't give you permission slips. Life doesn't say, okay, now's the perfect time. The perfect time never arrives. The only time you ever have is now. Living means deciding to no longer postpone your joy, deciding to no longer wait for someday, deciding to step into life today with what you have, where you are, with the people you love, and the resources you already possess. Living means bringing passion into everything you do. It doesn't matter if it's your career, your health, your relationships, your contribution, whatever you do it fully. Give yourself to it. Don't hold back. Don't just check the boxes. Don't just show up physically. Show up emotionally. Show up spiritually. Show up with energy and intention. Because when you give more of yourself, you receive more from life. Existing is passive, living is active. Existing is waiting, living is choosing. Existing is about what you get through. Living is about what you create. And here's the secret: living isn't about the big events. It's not about waiting for that vacation, in that promotion, that one big milestone. Living is in the small, ordinary moments. It's in the way you look at the sunrise. It's in the way you hug someone and actually feel it. It's in the way you stop for a second to breathe deeply and appreciate the fact that you're alive. It's in the way you smile at a stranger, the way you give love without expectation, the way you find meaning in what others overlook. When you're existing, you miss those moments. You're too busy rushing, worrying, and distracting yourself. You're living in the past or in the future, never here. But when you're truly living, you're present. You're awake. You're here. You feel life coursing through you. You recognize that this moment right now is not ordinary, it's extraordinary. Living means chasing growth. It means refusing to settle for what you already know, for who you already are. It means stepping outside of comfort zones, taking risks, daring to fail, and daring to dream bigger. Because growth is where life expands. Growth is where passion is born. Growth is where you discover who you really are and what you're truly capable of. But when you're existing, you avoid growth. You stay comfortable. You stay in the same patterns. You repeat the same year over and over again and call it a life. That's not living. That's slow death. Living means contributing. Because life isn't just about what you get, it's about what you give. It's about how you touch other people's lives. It's about the difference you make in your family, your community, your world. The deepest fulfillment you'll ever feel doesn't come from taking. It comes from giving. And when you're existing, you miss that. You're too caught up in your own survival. But when you're living, you realize survival isn't enough. You want significance. You want impact. You want to leave a mark that lasts. Living means loving fully, freely, unconditionally. It means telling people what they mean to you, not someday, but now. It means opening your heart, even when it's risky, even when it's scary. It means not holding back your affection, your kindness, your presence. Because love is the essence of life. Without love, you can exist. But with love, you truly live in. So I want you to pause and ask yourself, where in your life are you just existing? Where are you going through the motions, settling for less than you're capable of, waiting for someday? And where in your life do you want to start living? What would it look like if you brought passion, gratitude, growth, contribution, and love into those areas? Because here's the truth. No one is promised tomorrow. No one is guaranteed more time. The only guarantee you have is this moment right here, right now. And if you waste it in existence, you lose it forever. But if you choose to live it fully, you create a life of meaning, a life of joy, a life of purpose. Living is not about having more. It's about being more. It's about showing up with everything you've got, no matter what the circumstances look like. It's about deciding that you will not drift through life half asleep. You will awaken. You will engage. You will live with everything inside of you. You've been given the greatest gift of all, life. Today, right now, another sunrise, another breath, another chance. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Will you wake up tomorrow and slip back into old patterns, letting life pass you by? Or will you rise with purpose, ready to create, to love, to grow, to live? Shift your perspective and see each day as the miracle it truly is. Wake up with intentionality, directing your focus instead of letting distractions control you. Fuel your mornings with gratitude and energy rituals that transform your state and ignite your power. And above all, don't just exist. Don't just go through the motions. Live fully, live passionately, live in a way that when your head hits the pillow at night, you know you gave everything you had. Because the truth is, someday, your time will run out. Someday, you won't get another morning, but that day is not today. Today, you are alive. Today, you have breath in your lungs. Today, you have a chance to change everything. So wake up with purpose, step into your power, treat every single day as the gift it is. Because when you do, you stop waiting for life to happen, and you start making life happen. And that is when you stop surviving and you start truly living.